Okay, we're live now.
Okay,
But
great.
you gotta have a new URL, Sarah,
What
like
is
I
the
said.
new URL, Craig? I don't know. Do I just need to say youtube.com/Craig and Sarah /live?
That will work.
Okay. Okay. New YouTube link. Okay, it looks like you actually did it, which is great. Should I try to email everybody? Okay, great. Aloha, everyone. Yay! Aloha, everybody. We have had, I don't know what kind of technical glitch that was, but we are excited. We're going to get to do our workshop with everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I am just going to triple check that. Here we go. I see more folks moving over. Yay, we're back. We're back. Yes. Aloha, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'll have to do an update in the packet because I think I have the original link in the packet. So I'll make sure I update that. And plus, there's also an issue in the packet too that Eric Kingdon emailed me. Bless him. Thank you, Eric, for letting me know that there was a lyric thing that had gotten what's the word? That I had messed up the lyrics and I didn't realize it. So here we go. Yay. So it's great to see everybody popping over here. Thank you guys so much. We are really excited. We've got some great stuff today. So the workshop today, it's a workshop that I used to teach when we were going out and doing festivals. And I decided to change it a bit because it was really originally me just kind of going through the song and giving you a little bit of how to do it. But now it's going to be much more of a like, here's how you can create your own arrangement. Here's some different ideas, etc. Kind of like for if some of you guys joined us for the holiday one, the 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 holly and the ivy. That's right. I took us through that and then had you do your own arrangement for the other song that we had done. But kind of going through and teaching you like, here's how you do it so you can start doing your own arrangements. So I kind of break it down in that way. I love seeing everybody popping up in the chat. Aloha, everybody. It's great to see all of you. Yay. This is fantastic.
Yeah, you
Nice.
can do a quick email blast.
Okay. So Craig, if you don't mind popping on screen, I guess, so that people don't have to just watch me typing away to folks. I'm going to pull up. So because we had to have a quick switch of our, of the YouTube thing, I just need to make sure I let everybody know who purchased a packet where to go. So I'm going to try to get that all sorted and download the CSV and all that so I can let people know. Excellent. So, Craig, do you want to update people with anything? Let's see here. Yay. And thank you guys so much for popping over. We're going to get started probably in around 10 minutes of the actual workshop. And yeah, it should be a whole lot of fun. I'm really excited. I think the cool thing about this is really getting to show you guys how to actually, you know what I'll do is I'll just send it out to everybody. All right. I really love being able to show you guys how to do it yourself and being able to allow you the ability to be able to arrange and work on songs that you know and love, because I think that's just going to be really important and special. So that's part of why I like doing these kinds of workshops. All right, let's reuse this template. So I'm in the midst of sending out an email blast to let people know that we have a new link. Yeah, here we go. New link. We've had people ask about Cameron and what he's up to. He is outside right now. I hear him actually playing and having a great time with his grandparents.
Okay, and the website link is updated as well.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much, Craig, for helping with that. And then now that we can get this all sorted, get everybody all on the same page. Literally, all on the same page. Yeah. Okay, let me do that. Let's see here.
All right, so tomorrow, don't forget, we have the concert, the backyard concert premiere
Yes.
of
Oh, put yourself
U3,
on
which
screen.
includes Cynthia Lynn, ukulele, and Abe Lagrimas Jr., which will be amazing.
Yeah.
That's again going to start at 9 a.m. Hawaii time, 12 noon Pacific. So same time right about now.
Yeah.
We will have a lot of giveaways. Again, we have some beautiful Hawaiian Host chocolates to give away, some U3 CDs.
Yeah.
We have artist work subscriptions, some ukulele magazine subscriptions. And for that, you just have to join us in the live chat during the premiere itself.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Excellent. I'm almost done with this. Just takes a minute.
Yeah, again, sorry for the confusion on this new link. An error happened in my streaming software that we just had to reset it, but it caused us to have to create a brand new link for the stream.
Okay. All right, that email has been sent, so everybody should be updated with the new link. So there's that. Hopefully we'll be all set. I think we had a couple of people email us. Thank you guys for just being on top of it and emailing us saying, hey, you guys, we appreciate it. And then I'll just have to update the packet later so that you have the new replay link as well. Because I tried to be extra, what's the word? Prepared and have all of that stuff ready. Excellent. Okay, I think we have all of that sorted. Thank you all for watching us go through it. Yay. Yay. Oh, and Nels, I do owe you an email. We've been busy, and I did get your email. I just need to I need to sit down and write it. I've got a couple of backlogged things, and yours is one of them. So I'm very sorry about that. So here we go. Yay! Excellent, everybody. So hopefully everybody, you've probably received an email from us, those of you who are already here, saying this is where we're at, everybody. So hopefully everybody can join. I love seeing folks from all over joining us. It's really exciting and fun. Thank you all. Yay. Okay. Should we go into some of our housekeeping, Craig? Now that we've got, or do we want to wait till a little closer to time to give folks some chance to join us? Awesome. Excellent. Email received. That means it went out. Thank goodness. And also, this is recorded. So those of you, if you have to leave early or if you ended up joining late, due to our technical glitch with the software, don't worry. It's all recorded. You can come back and watch it and join us again. So, oh, thank you, Nels, for letting me know. I am still loved. Aloha, Patty. I just saw your name pop up in my chat. It's wonderful to see you. And also make sure, by the way, that you have live chat on and not just top chat. Because sometimes top chat, you end up missing out on some stuff or things go out of order, and it's just kind of strange. So we actually have a busy weekend planned. We have today with you folks, and then Craig and I have to do a bunch of testing because we've got a concert we're going to record tomorrow after the U3 concert premiere. It's going to be It's going to be a bit different. I'm really excited. And I think it'll be the most people we've had to fit in the backyard. So we've got to do some lighting tests and things today to just kind of double check and make sure that we have all the places that we need to have our angles and all of that. So there should be some, we haven't done a behind the scenes footage thing since Brittany for our associates and patrons for backyard concerts. But I do, we'll try to do a little bit of that just because it's going to be such a different experience for this next group. And then I think we'll also talk story a little bit about the U3 concert and Aldrine and all that. Because there wasn't a lot that changed with those from what we had been doing. But I know that this one, we're going to have to make some changes and how we do things to fit everybody. Oh, yes, my mug and shirt match the couch. Thank you. We're going to be trying out different couch backgrounds. That's the one thing I love about the covers. You can do that, so we can kind of check it out. Before, I realized I really couldn't wear green because it totally made me blend in with the couch. Now, much better. Yay. Aloha, Lazanne. It's great to see you. And so many folks. Aloha, Emily and Christine. Wonderful to see you guys here. Thank you, guys. And Jean and Anne and Joan and Mitchell. Yes, I was about to say, hopefully you're Mitchell from Long Beach. And then I just read, it's Long Beach. Oh, Long Beach. Speaking of Long Beach. So, FYI, our Long Beach retreat, I believe July 30th through August 3rd. That retreat, we are getting close to the sellout mark. So if you were on the fence, I highly recommend signing up. It's going to be a very intimate experience, actually. This one is, there's going to be 4 teachers. It's Craig and I and Herb Ota Jr. and Brian Tolentino. And one of the things that we just had a meeting last week or 2 weeks ago with them about the curriculum and what we're going to be teaching. And all of us are super excited. We're going to end up, so in the mornings, core classes will be all together. And we're focusing on 2 hula standards. And then in the afternoons, we're going to be breaking you guys up and making you form basically bands. And then the teachers will be your band directors and kind of help you guys sort out intros, outros, and things. And then you are going to perform it that day. And this is one of those things where we're trying to get you to, in real time, take what you've learned in the morning and apply it immediately. And it's not going to be perfect, and we don't want it to be perfect.
Yeah, and please understand too, we're putting people in groups where, there's going to be some beginners, some people who've been very comfortable playing. So there's going to be different arrangements and different parts. So it's going to be a ton of fun.
Yes. And the great thing too is it'll be like, who are our strummers? Who's going to be your soloist? Who's going to be your main singer? Like that kind of thing. So that you really are forming a group. And the great thing about this is it's giving people who've never had a chance to play in a group a chance, again, practicing in real time, as Brian likes to say, musical awareness and really getting you playing together. So that's something that we're really excited about. So Long Beach.
And again, thank you again for your patience. We had a little glitch this morning, but everything seems to be working out fine.
Yeah.
Thank you for being able to join us.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. But the excitement of live streaming still, right?
Well, you remember, I think it was 2 years ago, or no, more than that, maybe. Craig and I joke, we broke the internet because we went to do a live stream and all of YouTube went down for a whole day. We were like, whoops, guess we had too many ukulele players in one place.
So Long Beach, Nashville is coming up. That's again with Jake Shimabukuro, Herb and Brian, as well as Jeff Peterson. Yeah, that's going to be fun.
That one's going to be crazy. Sam Bush will also be there, those of you that know your mandolin players.
And I did want to answer some questions on that, where we are not in charge of that one. So we are just going to be guests. So we do not know like all the in and outs of the programming in that sense. So we can try to find out some of these answers for you. But if you have any questions, definitely send them our way or send it to the organizer there. LA Ukulele Festival, we just filmed some promos for, so we're bringing a whole bunch of people to that one. That's gonna be great from Hawaii. Corey and Kalei, Mika,
Hmm.
Abe,
Oh yeah,
um, Nue is gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. A lot
it's
of
going to be
great
amazing.
things this year.
And
Um,
then we also for our artist work students, we have our May 7th. Sorry we didn't get to have one this month.
hmm,
This month was just too crazy. But May 7th, we will have our Zoom check-in at 9 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. I haven't posted the forum link, the Zoom link in the forum yet, but I will try to post that up probably on Monday. And also, artist work students, I'm sorry I haven't been able to get to VEs this week. I was really hoping to, but it's, again,
well,
just been crazy.
speaking of which, we're gonna share a little teaser.
Oh,
The
yes.
reason why we've been so busy this week is that we went to our new location for next year's ukulele retreat, Hawaii.
And did some
So
filming.
I'm gonna just play this for a second before we officially get started with the workshop. Here we go.
If you're happy and you know that you're angry, why say
Yay!
So that's that. It was all filmed on location at uh, our new home for Ukulele Retreat Hawaii, which we will tell you the venue and all the pricing and stuff in probably a week and a half. We've got a few little things to iron out first to ensure that we dot all the I's and cross all the T's and all that. But we at least can tell you the dates. So, but yeah, you'll just be the beach is right there.
Oh,
It's
it's amazing.
it's amazing. We're really excited. We had such a wonderful time being there,
Yeah.
filming and everything. So yeah, we're super super excited. We took all the feedback from the folks that have been with us the past 2 years, and it's culminated into this amazing move. So we're very excited. Yeah, yes, Deborah. It is a big teaser. You're right. So yeah, we're excited. So ukulele retreat Hawaii, March 17th through 20th, and it is a full day on the 20th. So you will stay that night, and then we'll have optional programming on the 21st for those of you that want to stay another night. So yeah, 18th. So March 18th, 19th, and 20th. It's all like all day, full on ukulele. The 17th is an evening get together. We have something really special planned for that actually. And then 3 full days of nonstop classes, and then an optional day the next day of more nonstop classes for those of you that want to be able to stick around longer. So there's that. And let's see if there's anything else we missed. I don't think there is. Those of you, FYI, who are curious about Artist Works, we do have a promotion that's UKE20, I believe, is the code UKE20. And that you can get 20% off your subscription if you'd like to join us on our online school. And that is something that you'll also find in the free digital program for tomorrow's concert. You'll see that the code's listed there too. So don't forget, for tomorrow, U3's concert, there's a free digital program. It has 2 mini lessons in it that I created, as well as some cool fun facts about the songs that they're performing. And you get to learn more about Cynthia Lynn, ukulele, and Abe Lagrimas Jr. as well. So there's that.
All right, now if you're just joining us for the first time, again, we're going to start our workshop in just a few seconds. We do have everything shown on screen. If you do want to help with these live workshops and keep them free to the public, again, you can purchase your digital packet and have your very own. There's also a scholar packet that has bonus lessons and material. And it also helps pay it forward for those who cannot afford a packet at this time. So if you're interested in a packet and you can't afford one during this time, please send us an email. we'll put it in the description as well. We want to make sure that you're covered and people are paying it forward for you.
Yes.
So just let us know and we got your back. But again, everything is shown for free on screen during the
Mm-hmm.
lesson. So I'll be manning the cameras and also manning the chat. So if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them in chat. But if there's anything that you'd like to see differently that Sarah does, just let me know and I'll bring that up with her as well. But thank you guys again for
Mm-hmm.
joining us. And here's Sarah.
Thanks. I want to just do a real quick shout out. There's a gentleman named Tim who I think ever since we started charging for
Mhm.
packets, always, every single time buys an extra
Yeah.
diaper packet and stuff because he is every single live stream we've ever done. He is always so incredibly supportive and always does extra to ensure that other people get to have packets. So Tim, I just want to say thank you because I don't think we've taken the time to thank you on screen, though we do send you emails. So thank you so, so much for always being supportive and always helping out others. We really appreciate it. All right. So chord melody. So I've talked about this before, so there's going to be a little bit of a review for those of you that have joined me for past chord melody workshops. But this stuff is really important, which is why I want to make sure I mention it. So our example song today is going to be 8 Days a Week, that awesome Beatles classic. And I want you to keep in mind that there's multiple ways of doing chord melody. But the first question usually is, what is chord melody? Chord melody is basically where you're playing the melody of the song and the chords of the song at the same time. I love it because it's very it describes exactly what it is. There's no hidden meaning or agenda with the word chord melody. So you can make it fairly simple, or you can make it more difficult. And we'll kind of talk a little bit about that. The version of chord melody that we're going to be working on in today's class is trying to play chords and melody at the same time, but no extra added picking. Like it's just, here's your melody and the chord. There are versions out there like Herb Otta Jr., for example, where he does arpeggiated picking patterns throughout while he is playing the chord melody. So again, there's multiple ways that you can go into it, but I feel like the method we're going to go over today is the most sort of tangible and easiest to understand because it's pretty clear cut. So there's two main rules to remember. The first that I have written down is the melody note needs to be the highest note in your chord. Otherwise, if you play a different note, for example, that's higher, that will be perceived as a melody because it's that highest note. So it may mean that you're only playing 3 strings or 2 strings, depending on where your melody note lies. The other is that your melody is king. I don't care what the chord name is. If I have a chord, let me grab my uke now. If I have the chord, and the chord is F, and my melody note is here on the 3rd fret of my A string, yes, I've got this chord, but this note I have to add because that note is a must because that's my melody. This just happens to be another way you could play a standard F chord actually, but just something that's really important to keep in mind. It might potentially change the name of your chord to be something fancy like, I don't know, F6/9 or whatever. To me, the real name of the chord isn't that important. It's that it's an F chord and you're adding the melody note. That's how I want you to kind of look at this. Don't get obsessed with what the real name of that chord is because it's really about what is the base of the chord and what is the melody note and then put them together. Okay. So just something to keep in mind. I used to be very obsessed with chord names and why is this way and why is that. And in the end, it doesn't matter. It's really how it sounds, and thinking of it in a broader term will, I find, make you feel less limited. So, all right, those are the big things to keep in mind. Any questions so far? I'm looking. I think we're okay. I like that, Larry. Does that make the chord the queen? Yeah, I like that idea. Your chords are the queen, but the melody is king. You got to make sure that melody is there. All right. Moving on. I like creating, when I'm working on a song, I like to make a chord bank. That way I don't have to constantly flip through my book to figure it out. So what I'll do is I'll say, okay, here's all the positions of C. Here's all the positions of A minor. Here's all the positions of F. Da, 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 da. Now, I didn't give you all the positions in our chord bank because I know that we don't need to go that high on some of these chords just from looking at the melody. But again, I'm just showing you my method. Some people start with melody, but I start with chords where I'm like, okay, where are all the potential chords that I'm going to need? And so the first column, main chords, I want us to focus on those first. You're going to want to have this sheet available to you as we go through the song. And you'll have this next to your, when you're working on your own arrangement, you can have this next to your melody sheet so that you can write things out. Now you'll notice that I've actually given you, especially, let's look at that first row, C. I've given you C's, the first position C, and I've given you the next position of C that surprisingly looks like a B flat chord. So I'm going to do a close-up so as I go through these for you. So regular C, this C with all the chords or all the strings covered. Now there's another version of C there where I take away my ring finger and I have an open G string. Way easier to play than this one and is really handy. It happens to have a G here and a G here. Then on the 7th fret, there's a tiny little 7 written on the next chord. I'm barring the 7th fret and forming what looks like an F chord. There's that version, but if you don't like playing bar chords, you are in luck because you could play what suspiciously looks like a G chord, but on the 7th fret with your open G. And there's not a huge difference between the two. There's a little bit of a difference, right? So those are all variations of C that you can try out potentially in this arrangement. And because a C chord consists of a C note, an E note, and a G note, that's why we can have this open G string. So technically, all I need to play a C chord are actually these 3 strings. Because I have C, E, and G. And then an extra C right here. These 2 are just an octave apart. Let's see. Yay, I did it. So that's something I want you to keep in mind as we move forward, because that's going to be a very important thing to remember, is that your C chord really only has to be 3 notes. So there's that. Then we also have a couple of different versions of A minor. I have an A minor here. I also have the one on the 4th fret that looks like this. Yeah. And then I have another one. Now this one, the way I hate how Guitar Pro sometimes does stuff, because I'd actually hold that 3rd one like this where I'm barring, because I need this note. Now I could just do 1 finger per string like that. So I've got index on the 2nd fret, but I may end up barring it just because that's sometimes easier depending on what chord I played before it. So I have that A minor, which I'm just going to keep that finger there, and then this guy, which should remind you of a G minor, and then this guy. Now I'm going to give you a little hint. We're probably not going to use those other inversions because I don't like them. But I want you to just know that they're there, okay? There's other versions of A minor. I know, I'm just giving you 3 right now. Then we have different versions of F, right? Where I have, you know, my regular old F. And then I've got this F that most people don't like to play, right? And then I have this F. And I'll give you a hint. This F right here on the 3rd fret, probably will not play this F today. Probably will choose other things. But just know, again, that exists. We'll probably play this one, though, where you're barring the 5th fret and you have your pinky on that 8th fret. Let's go through your D7s. D7 here. You've got another D7, which you could play like this with your middle or like this. Again, it depends on what chord came before and after as to how you might choose to play it. And then there's a tiny little 5 next to this D7. So I will just hold this D7. I will guarantee you that you will be playing this D7 at some point, probably multiple points in our song. Then next, continuing down, we have a G chord. Then there's a 5 here. And then there's a 7 with this guy on the 10. Back to the 5 and the 7. And then the G. Let's continue. Last set of chords, G7. Then I have Craig likes to call this giant G7, where we move up to the 3rd fret, but spread out your fingers. So zoop, like this. So I'm holding open 5, 3, 5. And then I'm also showing you the closed version next to it, which I'm going to hold, and it looks like an F7. If I was to take away my middle finger, whoop, like that, I have giant G7, but I'm just using different fingers because I need this finger to be here. And then I also have a 7th fret up here where I've got my ring holding the 8th fret. So those are sort of my main chords, right? Now, the other side, I have something that I wrote chord substitutions. And these are chords that the more you play, the more you might go, I'm going to use that instead because it's easier to get to. Or maybe you like the sound of it better. Or it makes moving from one chord to another chord easier for you. But just know that if you have a major chord, you could potentially play a major 6 instead. If you have a minor chord, you could potentially play a minor 7 instead. And then for the F chord, you might play a major 6, but I also have an F add 9 there because the F chord that looks like this, excuse me, if I was to actually just play open 5, 5, 3, sounds very similar and allows me to be able to play this chord shape but have that open string in it, and it still sounds really, really nice compared to versus it just has a slightly different color to it. So that's why I put that chord in there. And then I have D9. If you have a dominant 7 chord like D7, you can sometimes make it a D9 and it works and sounds great. Again, it really depends on your melody. So that's just something that you'll have to use your ear. And then I gave you variations of G major 6, G6, as well as G9. Now, the reason I'm not going through all of these is we're going to end up touching on them during class. So I don't want to spend too much time focusing on those. So let's see here. Now, the next thing I would do after making my bank is I would actually take the song and go, okay, let's actually learn where the melody is. Now, because I only have like approximately an hour with you folks, I'm not going to sit here and painstakingly take you through every single melody note here. But what I do want us to do is have fun and play the song for a second and kind of go through and sing it. So let me scroll up so we can see everything and get your C ready. And I want you, as we're singing it, to also kind of look at the tablature underneath and notice, or the music notation if you read music notation, and notice that where the melody notes kind of are lying on our fretboard. You'll see that for the most part, our melody note happens to be on the A string. We got really lucky there because that means we can play full chords for 99% of it. It's only, I think, in the B section that you end up having a spot where you play on a different string. So for fun, let's go through the song. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, I need your love, babe. Yes, you know it's true. Hope you need my love, babe, just like I need you. Oh, hold me, love me, hold me, love me. Ain't got nothing but love, babe. 8 days a week. Let's just script to the bridge. G. 8 days a week. I love you. D7. again, back to the top. Ooh, I need your love, babe. Yes, you know it's true. Hope you need my love, babe, just like I need you. Oh, oh, hold me, love me, hold me, love me. See, ain't got nothing but love, babe. 8 days a week. Go back to the F for fun. 8 days a week. Back to the F one last time. 8 days a week. That's the basic gist of the song. Yes, there's a second verse. I don't have the second verse written because I was trying to keep it all on one page. But you get the idea of the melody. So, moving on, there's several different approaches that you can take. I'm actually going to take that very first line and we're going to play it a couple of different ways. To me, this is the easiest way I find to play it. And with this, so I tried to kind of give you like the chord diagram and tablature and the music notation, try to give you all of it so that you can try to play with me sort of in semi-real time. But the reason why we're just doing the first line is the first and second lines are the same in the song. So that's kind of handy, right? That's one thing I like about this tune is it's repetitive. So once you kind of get one line, you've gotten a couple of lines in the process. So remember, I don't know, 10 minutes ago when I said, in order to play a C chord, you really only need 3 notes, C, E, and G. And you have those notes on your open strings. And then anything that happens on your A note is gravy. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the melody notes on our A string, but leave the rest of the strings open because we can, and it's super easy to do. So what I want us to do, and it doesn't matter to me which fingers you use, I tend to use my ring finger for this. And then I'll play the 7th fret on my A string and I'll strum down. You can hear that melody note nice and clear. Again. Then the next note is the 5th fret of our A string. Strum that again. So go back to your 7. And then 5. That's the first 2. Ooh, I. And then the melody note happens to be on the 3rd fret of your A string for the word need. Need. So I just used ring, middle, and index. And then it goes back up to the 5th fret. Let's try that line together. 2, 3, 4. Ooh, I need your 1, 2, 3 again. Ooh, I need your. Now you can do what I'm doing, which is I'm prepping and I have all 3 fingers down so that I'm just lifting up. Leave my index down as I add that finger. Now, next chord or next measure, you'll see that there's a D7 listed. So that means we need to play variations of our D7 chord. The D7 I've got, or the melody note happens to be on the 5th fret still. And I need a D7 that has that. So I looked at my chord bank and I chose this D7. I can do this D7. And then the melody note for the word babe is an open A string. It's that. And then I chose a D7 from my chord bank that had an open A, which happens to be this one. That's just that 2 open, 2 open. Super, super handy. Let's try going from that 5th fret D7. And then you could slide down your index and actually play that D7 using these 2 fingers, or if you use this guy, you can slide that finger down. So again, let's try that D7 to D7 again. 2, 3, 4, D7, and then D7. 1, 2, 3, last time. D7, and then D7. All right, let's try that first 2 measures. 2, 3, or actually, sorry, I want to use these. 2, 3, 4. Ooh, I need your 5th fret D7. 2nd fret D7. One sounds good. We're going to move on because we're going to play it through again a little bit later. So I am now on the 3rd measure for Yes, You Know It's True. And melody note listed was an A. Well, the F chord that has an open A in it happens to be that first position one. How convenient. So now we're going to play this one, and then the next one for the word you, we are actually playing the note on that 3rd fret. So what are we going to do? Melody is king. Just add that finger. Done. So you have yes, you. And for the 2 words no, it's, you've got the melody note jumping way up here. So we need an F chord that has a note happening on your 8th fret, which happens to be that barred one on the 5th fret. So slowly playing from the 3rd measure, F, yes, add a friend, you, slide that friend up to the 8th fret and then bar the 5th. No, it's, let's do that one more time. F chord, add your pinky, slide up the pinky to the 8 and then add your bar. No, it's, and then my ring can just rest, whoop, so we can finish. And we're back where we started because we have to repeat it. So let's try that again. F, add your friend, move it up. Add your ring. Yay! Let's try that whole first line. 2, 3, 4. I need your 5th fret D7, 2nd fret D7, and then we have our F chord. F, add a friend, scoot it up, and then ring finger. 2, 3, again. Hope you need my 5th fret D7, move it down D7, and then we have an F chord. F, add a friend, move it up, and then the C on that 7th fret. Now, how was that? That wasn't too bad, especially because, let's see here. Oh, how come? What's going on? My screen isn't changing. Is your screen changing, Craig? Okay. So, all righty. Yay. So, with this, the cool thing is that you get to really hear it. Oh, I love Mary Lou. I'm getting it. I'm understanding it. That's exciting. So for these different approaches, I'm going to go into the next one in just a second. But the thing that I was going to say about this is knowing that, you know, you can make it as easy as you want. This, I feel like, is pretty doable. You're plugging in the melody with your chords. And if you know a little bit of theory like that C thing, you don't have to jump around the fretboard like in our next example. So I'm going to go through the next example kind of briefly and get you guys to kind of see. I would do this particular one if I have a high G. I don't think it's going to sound as nice on a low G. Now, as we go through this, one thing that Guitar Pro, which is what I use to create the chord diagrams and the music notation, I don't always like how I can't change their diagrams. So I want to actually add in something to this second one. There we go. Now, the reason I want to add in that little dot there is so that you remember to hold that particular chord. Because what we're going to do is we're going to play the 7th fret way up here. So again, 7th fret, this C, way up high. That looks like a G. And then when we move down, we're going to hold this chord shape, which is that open 4, 3, 3. But I'm going to actually add either my ring or my pinky. It doesn't matter to me whichever one is more comfortable for you. I tend to use my pinky. So again, I'm going from here, 7th fret, move down to the next position and add a note, and then lift up, and then put it back down. So here's this variation again, 7th fret, move down, lift up, put it down. Versus the very first one, the first way we did it. So you're having more notes kind of change and move down the fretboard instead of them being totally stagnant. That might be why you might want to do this instead for that area. And then of course the rest of it's the same. 5th fret D7 and then 2nd fret D7. The F chord. Slide everybody up. And then I played this that looks like a G chord on that 7th fret. And then you can repeat it. Let's try it again. 7th fret. Scoot down. Add your friend. Take away your friend. Put it back. 5th fret D7. 2nd fret D7. And then you have your F. 5th. And then that 7th fret. So this is giving us a slightly different, just a slightly different sound. To me, it sounds really, really similar, but it's letting you move around the fretboard a bit more. And again, just giving you a slightly different approach for the same thing. And you can play closed chords if you would like. Instead, I find doing that 7th fret. So, like I find that to be a bit awkward doing it all in bar chords, but you can do it. Now there's a third approach where I'm going to actually use some of those chord substitutions. So that's on our next page. Now here, to keep things relatively easy, I'm only changing a couple of things. I'm changing the C chord, of course. And you'll notice in our measure that has F, I've made a change actually right here. Technically, that's an F6 that I'm adding when I add my pinky to the party. But let's go through. So the C6 I'm using is on the 5th and 7th frets. So I'm holding 5, 7, 5, 7. And then this next one, again, I tend to hold, let's do this real quick. There we go. I tend to hold a chord shape. So here, and then I move down to this chord shape, which not everyone likes, and it's all right, where I'm barring the 2nd fret. My ring is on that C string on the 4th fret, and then my middle finger is barring 2 strings. And then I am adding my pinky to the 5th fret, because that's my melody note, right? And then putting it back down. So back up to the 5th fret. So 5th fret. Notice how my fingers are actually pretty much on the strings they need to be on. Look at me just sliding from one chord to the next. My index, I think I lifted up a little bit in order to do this movement. It takes some practice, but for me, that's probably how I would actually play this chord melody. But again, not everybody likes this chord, and so just keep that in mind. So this part again was 5th and 7th, have the friend there, take it away, put it back, 5th fret, D7, and move it down, D7. Then we have our F chord. Now we're going to add 2 fingers. You're going to add the melody note with your pinky and then that D note on your C string, getting a slightly fuller and different chord sound. And then moving up to that 5th and 8th fret, and then 5 and 7, like that. Let me play it again. So you have 5 and 7, move it down, take away the pinky, put it back, 5th fret D7, 2nd fret D7, and then the F chord, adding 2 notes. And then 5, 7, 5, 7. So let me real quick, I'm going to play all 3 one after the other so that you can hear what they sound like. I'm going to put this, the second one I almost never play, but the first one I've got. So you've got. 2, 3, 4, and then the next one. I'm I'm going to go and do the very last one. We're getting the same thing done. We're playing the chords and we're playing the melody, but all three of those have slight differences. And it kind of shows you, there might be one you prefer now, and maybe you'll end up preferring another one later once you've been playing a bit more. But just again, keep in mind, there's more than one way to do it. And plus, I'm having us just strum. Again, you can add in picking and arpeggiations, especially when you've got chords that last a long time, like that D7 measure you could possibly mess with. I'm not going to today because we're keeping it relatively simple. So there's that. Now, one thing I did want to bring up, and this is something that I actually did in an article for Ukulele magazine, is I talked about alternate ways of writing things out. When I first started playing, even though I could read music notation, I actually liked drawing boxes and writing lyrics underneath the boxes. So I knew exactly what I was going to be doing. And this also allowed me to be able to write down arrangements and be able to look back at them again. Now, I kind of did this already on top of your music notation, but this is if I had zero notation and I could make my boxes a bit bigger. So that's why I have this down here. And this is just showing you how I'd write the easy version, version 1. And you can just see that I've got like that, ooh, I need your love, babe, yes, you know it's true. This method's great if you already know the song and you don't need any rhythmic elements written out. But again, for those of you that don't read music, you can find ways to write it out for yourself. And if you need to, sometimes I've seen people write slashes if they, need to play something twice or whatever, or write other little notes next to your chords, like you're like pluck EA in between each, whatever. But this is just giving you an alternate so that if you're writing your own arrangements, there's a way you can do it without having to know music notation or tablature. Everybody okay so far? I've seen some really nice things in the chat, including that dreaded chord. You're talking about this one, I know. So, knowing what we know, let's go through and actually do the verse, playing sort of the easy version. Now, I tried doing a version of this where I actually wrote out all of the box diagrams on top, and it just made it way too big. So we're going to go through nice and slow, and then we'll try to play it in somewhat real time. So I've got my first line, which we should be familiar with from the easy version. And the second line is exactly the same. So let's get to the new thing, which is going to be line 3. Line 3, we have an A minor listed. Now I am cheating, and instead of, say, using this chord, which I could use, that's one of the A minors that I actually had listed in my chord bank. I am going to play A minor 7, which happens to be all open strings, and add the melody note. It sure does look exactly like that C chord that we've been playing, and that's fine. You might have noticed way back, if you look at your chord bank, that the A minor 7s and the C major 6s look exactly the same. Those chords are related to each other, and there is a reason that they look the same. But that is for another lesson. The fast answer to that is that A minor is the relative minor of C. And so you're going to have, and so that means they share the same scale notes. So that means that when you go and add some colors to those chords, because they share the same scale notes, you're going to end up with some chords that look alike, especially because we only have 4 strings on our instrument. So just keep that in mind. So I could play, again, that A minor here, and then move it down to the next one is Hold Me. The melody note's on the 3rd fret, and it's an A minor. So I'm going to actually hold my regular A minor and just add that note, like that. It's way easier for me to just do this, thinking it's A minor 7, and then scooting down to the 3rd fret and adding that A minor. That's way easier than doing this version. But both are correct. So what I have written is what I will play. So I have that 7th fret with open strings and then move it down. Now I have an F chord listed. My melody note happens to be the 5th fret. Now, if we were to look at the chord bank, you'll notice that the chords that I had for us for F were F. I have this one, and I had this one. But none of them have this melody note happening on that 5th fret of our A string. So that means we need to manipulate a chord. So you could say, well, let's manipulate this one and add that 5th fret, which means I'm going to put the note here on my A string, which means I just have to bar it. Or you could have said, well, you can manipulate this one and just take a finger away. You still end up with the same thing. You're barring that whole 5th fret, and you're technically playing an F major 6 chord. But that doesn't matter because it's an F chord. That's all you need to know, and we're adding the king, the melody note. So barring the 5th fret, sliding down and going to an F chord. So let's go through, and I'm going to do a close-up now of my hand. And we're going to do 7th fret, and then go down to A minor, like that. Bar your 5th fret, go down to the F chord. Nice. Again, 7th fret, 3 and 2. Now, I'm actually going to have us move on to measure 12, which has that D7. We have that 5th fret again as our melody, but it's a D7 instead of the F chord. And what do you know? It's that D7 on the 5th fret that we've already played today. So 5, 6, 5, 5. And then open A is the next melody note. Happens to be, hey, we've done that move before, D7 to D7. As I said, I love this song. It's very repetitive. So let's try that whole 3rd line. So we have 7th fret, move it down to 3 and 2, and bar the 5th, and then do an F chord. Again with the 7th fret, move it down to the 2nd and the 3rd, then that 5th fret D7, go down to the 2nd fret D7. Yeah! Now, our next line down here, you're going to notice that it's pretty much the same, except it has an extra word in it. Ain't got nothing. So all we're going to do here is get prepped. Ain't got nothing but. That's not too bad, right? Let's try that again. Ain't got nothing but. And then we'll come up here to the 5th fret D7. Remember this move? Again, 2nd fret. Then you rest. Then as during the rest, move up to that 5th fret and the 8th fret with your F. 8 days. That's really convenient. Just staying in that place. Then I have my ring, my middle, and my index prepped so I can go weak. Or you could just end it on that and not do that fancy. Like that. So let's do the last line together. 2, 3, 4. Ain't got nothing but D7 up high, D7 down low, rest move up high. 8 days a week. Let's play the whole thing from the very top. I bet you can do it. We'll go that slow. 2, 3, 4. Ooh, I need your D7 5th fret. Move it down the 2nd fret. Have your F. Jump up. And then the C. 2, 3. Let's go again. 5th fret, D7, 2nd fret, D7, and then F, add a friend, move it up, and then your C chord, but way up high, and stay there because that's your A minor for now. Hold, slide it down to 2 and 3, 5th fret, bar, and then your F, back to the 7, and the 2 and 3, and the D7, and and then the D7 again. Ain't got nothing but D7, and then D7 again, and then rest move up. 8 days a week. Yes, I love it. Can we try one more time? It's just so much fun to get to play it. 2, 3, 4. 5th fret, move it down. Again with your F. And then the C. 2, 3, here we go. 5th fret, D7. Move it down, D7. And then we have an F chord. And then that, stay there because we're pretending that's also A minor. A minor, and then move it down. 5th fret bar, move it down. Back to that, high up, move her down. D7, 5th fret, and then D7 again. Jump up again. 2 of them. Move it down. Rest, move up. Yeah, you did it. You made it. So the thing about this sort of easy version is that you can clearly hear your chords, you can clearly hear your melody, and it's just a real fun song to play. And then if you speed it up, like you can really start to hear it. You can, of course, change up things like the feel, and you don't have to play it as vanilla as we are doing right now. I'm making sure that we are playing very on the beat, vanilla E, no pull-offs, no hammer-ons, none of that stuff, just so that we get the core concept. You can absolutely manipulate this at the very end instead of doing, you could totally do, like a little pull-off there, or something like that if you wanted to. There's other spots where you can do pull-offs and hammer-ons in the song, but again, the world is your oyster. I'm just showing.
Even using basic techniques like sliding, you can slide up to that first melody note just to give it.
Oh yeah, like that.
Just a single note, maybe and then
I could hammer on that note if I wanted.
Yeah, again, you guys all know this, so you utilize what you know. This is how we can dress things up and really make it your own.
Yeah, and I highly recommend messing around with it and changing it. I am, again, giving you basics so that then you can move forward and make this arrangement your own. Now, I'm going to go into the B section. This B section, I didn't realize when I exported it, still had the verse chords listed. So I apologize for that. I am going to have to actually do an update in the packet with the new link. So I might as well also just fix this for you in the new packet. So I will be updating that and emailing you guys who purchased packets, whether it's the standard or the scholar, so that you've got the lyrics fixed. But I wrote them underneath in red. So I find that the B section of this is actually, it has one slightly hard part if you're a beginner. And in this, what we have here is, it's a G chord. This is the 8 days a week, I love you, right? And then it goes to D7, and it's almost the same kind of melody. So our melody note for that first one is on the 5th fret. It's that D note. The chord listed is a G. Now the G's that you could potentially use are this guy. You could also use this guy. And because this guy already has the note in it, I could do something like that. I actually prefer using this one and stretching, which is what I have written, because I like how that sounds. Again, all personal preference. So I did this one. And then I just stretched up with my pinky to the 7th fret, plucked it once, so there's no chord happening there because I'm coming back down to this. To me, this is the hardest part if you're going to play it the way that I've written it. So let me do a close-up of my hand. So I have a G chord with this. If for some reason holding this G chord with that middle, if you take your middle finger away, sometimes that eases things up and it makes the stretch easier. I tend to like to hold the whole chord underneath just in case I want to reach for that note later. But it's up to you. You can hold it like this with only your pinky on the A string, or you can hold the full G. So I have 8 days a week, and I come back down. To me, going up here and then bringing it back is the hardest part. Notice how my fingers, these guys, kind of stay in a little bit of a formation hovering because I know I'm going back. And then, and then I could pull the pinky back, or I could be bad and flatten that finger out. If you do classical guitar technique, you would totally have your hand smacked for doing that, but it doesn't matter to me. As long as you get that melody note in there, that's the most important thing. But I'd probably use my pinky because my pinky tends to be my anchor during this part. I'm actually going to hold I'm going to scoop my pinky up to the 5th fret for my A minor, and then I'm actually going to have my index holding that A minor chord here. The other thing I'm going to do is you'll notice that there's some melody notes happening underneath where you're going to go back and forth. So instead of doing what I'm showing you right now, I'm going to actually leave my ring finger down on that 3rd fret, and my pinky is on the 5th fret. So that, and I'm going to leave that finger down. So that's what I'm doing here. So I have 5th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, and then just A minor. Now I could be fancy and do and add in that extra note, but I'm keeping it vanilla right now because I know the vocals actually tend to do what I just played there. But for now, keep it vanilla. 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, and then open. Then we're going to go up to our 5th fret of our D with our D7 because our melody note is on that 5th fret. And you have that happening twice. 8 days. We have a new melody note happening with a D7, and that's actually just going to be adding our ring finger to the 7th fret. There. And you can play it as a full chord, and this happens to be one of the D9s that are listed in your substitution chord bank. So that's technically what's happening. Here's you're playing a D9 chord for that note. So let's play the second line with the D7. 8 days, add a friend, and then take that friend away. Taking that friend away is your next note and also the first chord in the next measure. So 8 days a week. And then you can scoot down to that 2nd fret and hold that D7. Oh, I'll talk about the next variation actually in the second. That's right. So for now we're doing is, and then the melody. Now, one thing I'm doing is I am going to hold and instead of jumping down to the note here on the 3rd fret, I'm going to actually pluck over here on that 8th fret of my E string. But I could do this, but that's a lot of unnecessary moving around my fretboard in order to be able to achieve that. Or maybe I could maybe do so, or I could do, which is me using the F add 9, and I'm actually using my pinky on the A string. But I actually am okay with just going here and then plucking a single note. But again, many different ways you can go about it. It's all kind of up to you. So I'm going to move on to the G9, G7, the very last Show I Care. I'm using a closed G7, which looks like an F7. So I'm holding 4, 5, 3, 5. Show I. And then I move my middle finger up to bar the 7th, and then I add a finger for the 8th fret here. So again, that move again was G7, slide up, and then play that last version of G7. So let's go through and try to muddle our way through it, nice and slow from the top. 2, 3, 4, 8 days a week. 2, 3, 3rd fret. I'll love you. D7, 5th fret. 8 days a week. 2nd fret is jump up. Not enough to show I care. So it is a little bit of a jump. It comes up fast, okay? But before we get too attached, I am going to have us move down to the next one. Now for this next one, I'm using some substitution chords. Instead of playing G like this, I'm actually holding a G6 chord, which is 4, 4, 3, 5. So the note is actually already in my chord, handily enough. For me, I just stretch up to that 7th fret and then bring it back. So I don't have a lot of moving I have to do, whereas with this one, I have to slide. This one, for me, I do that. I could, if I wanted to, and actually play a bar chord there. But again, if I'm playing fast, I might not have time to do that jump, to play this G6 and then this G6. So just food for thought on that. And then the 3rd fret, I just flatten that finger and then go to the love you. And then we have our D7 up high, which is the same. Add that friend, take it away. But if you play high G, you don't have to move. I don't need to move down to here because that note is already under your finger on your G string. So that line again, 8 days a week is, and then 5th fret, same thing. If you play high G, not enough to, so little movement going on here because I can play my G string. And now instead of playing a G7, I'm gonna play a G9 coming up. I think that's a little easier to get to. And then my G7 up here. So I'm going to go through and play those lines. Feel free to play along with me, starting with the G6. 8 days a week. 2, 3. I love you. 5th fret D7. 8 days a week. 2, 3 is not enough to show I care. Yeah. Substitution chords kind of help make things a little bit easier, I think. I'm not necessarily as fond of the G6 sound in this particular song, but it is a bit easier to play, in my opinion. You might find that the other way is easier for you, and that's great. That's the beautiful thing about this in music, is that there's multiple ways to do one thing. So keep that in mind. And with this, let's see. So what I want you to do, your homework, folks, is I want all of you to make your own arrangements. When you do your arrangements and you feel like you're performance ready, if you're an artist work student, you can actually submit video exchanges on this lesson. Just submit it in other tunes. But if you aren't an Artist Work student, you can tag us on social media and say, check it out. I learned this from Craig and Sarah. Here's my arrangement. Because there's a reason I didn't put the A section and B sections together. It's because I want you to do the legwork and I want you to do that. So what I recommend, take my chord bank, feel free to add chords to it because there's many ways that you can play the same chords. You know, I showed you that G up here like this. Well, a G chord has a G note in it, doesn't it? So you could actually have an open G string. And you could totally do it. And Stephanie, I will show the G9 in just a second. So I did see your question pop up in the chat. But what I recommend is take this page here and write out diagrams if you need to, or fill in the tablature. Fill it in so that you can create your own arrangement, make whatever notes you need, and you can use this as your base for your chord bank, and you can add chords to it. And if you want to add in some fingerstyle stuff, please feel free, because again, the idea is for you to make this song yours. Now, that G9 section, let's go through and play that again, since we had a question. And excellent, thank you. And anybody else, if you have a question or if you're like, play that again, I can certainly do that. Also remember, this is being recorded, so you can also go back and watch it and slow it. Can you slow down in YouTube or do you just speed up? I know you can speed things up. Okay, so the G9 area, I am on the last line, third measure, because I want to start actually with that F chord. So I've got my 5th fret, and I'm going to do a close-up of my hand. Now, what I tend to do is actually move the bar down, and then I put my middle finger down, and I double bar for that. So I'm holding 4, 5, 5, 5. It's a double bar. I could do finger per string. Notice how if I do that, how severe of a diagonal everything is. I'm not trying to pack everybody right next to each other because they just won't fit. But if I do this and it's at a diagonal like this, it will fit much better. And then I guess you just move it up and then scoot your pinky up if you're doing it this way. I like bar chords because they move around the fretboard really. Yeah, they move around really easy. And so for me, because I was playing the F6 like this, I tend to do that. But you could, I could play this one like this, I guess, and then do this, and then move it up like that if I wanted to. Again, it's whatever you're most comfortable with. But the main thing for me is doing this as a double bar for your G9, 4, 5, 5, 5. And I might play a chord differently. I might play a G9 differently depending on what chord came before and where I'm going afterward. Think of it this way. When you learn to play a chord, you are generally taught you play C like this. But technically, you have 4 different ways you can play C. This, or this. And you might choose to play it one way or the other, depending on what chord came before and after it. Context is always really important. I always get bummed out when there's people saying, this is the right way to play the chord. I'm like, well, there's many right ways. One of Craig and I's favorite phrases is, well, actually, it depends, because it really depends on where you're headed. Excuse me. Let me see if there's any other questions about that. So, in conclusion, please make your own. You'll notice that I've actually given you guys, for those of you that are like, ooh, this was a really cool lesson, I want to do more. Well, we've done things in the past, and we've had guest instructors also do it too. So I've actually given you, I went through some of our past live streams and kind of picked out ones that I felt would kind of fit best. And you'll see that there's a Christmas chord melody one that I referred at the beginning of this. There's a Jeff Peterson workshop that we did that he goes through a song and it's chord melody, but he's doing arpeggiation. It's a different style. Same with Herb's Something. That's, again, another style of doing a similar thing. I did in my life chord melody. We also had Jake teach a song where it's more finger style, but again, you are working on chord melody. And of course, I love Craig's Mele Kalikimaka chord melody workshop too. So those are just some ones that I picked out that you have links to so that you can keep moving forward. And I know we'll do this again because it's really fun to get to kind of work out songs and do these songs together. So, are there any questions for me before we chat a little bit more?
For questions, we do want to give another huge thank you to our artist work students, as well as all of you who help support our events, whether it's through packets or even supporting our concert series. Again,
Yes.
tomorrow is going to be U3's, which is Cynthia Lynn's band. Their big concert premiere, which is going to be a ton of fun.
Yes, I'm really excited about that U3 concert tomorrow. It's going to be a blast. And I had a thought and I lost it, but that's okay.
Well, I
It'll
think
come
that was
back to me.
I'll say this one more time. Just a huge thank you to our artist work students, as well as all of you who've been with us for years, or even just found us recently.
Yes.
Supporting our events, whether it's our live streams or workshops or in-person events or our backyard concert series. We can't thank you guys enough for your support. So thank you
Yes.
so much.
And also, I just want to say a huge thank you again to the Scholar Packet folks, because I want to mention the Scholar Packet I actually have the Scholar Packet here. It actually has the song My Yellow Ginger Lay in it. And I go through, I have to record it this weekend, hopefully. It's going to be a mini lesson on the chord melody, but I'm going to go through differences. But if I was doing it high G versus low G, so I have that, and all of the PDFs are already in the packet when you purchase it, and there's a link that takes you to also backing tracks so that you can practice 8 days a week at different speeds with a band to kind of keep you honest. So there's also that's included in that Scholar Packet. And there's, Liz Ann, I have no page 8 and 9. Oh, you know what? There is no page 8 and 9 because I messed up on what you call them, my pages. I go from page 7 to page 10. So thank you for pointing that out, Liz Ann. Something else I'll need to fix in the packet.
Well, that's the super secret stuff.
Yes, that's right. That's the super secret stuff. So, yeah. Oh my goodness. So I'll make sure to fix that. So those of you guys who purchased packets, I will be updating it and sending out because I have your emails already from purchasing the packet. I will send that out to you folks so that you get the update where I fix the lyrics and you have the new recorded link listed in that Mahalo letter. Because I just want to make sure that that's all sorted, and I'll be fixing the pages as well. Nice. Well, this was a ton of fun. I loved it. Now,
well, again, the big thing is also, we feel so lucky that we get to be a part of your ukulele journey. So
it's true.
Again, as you guys work through things, even if it's not stuff that we taught you, just want to have us check something out that you're working on. Just tag us on social media so we can see it, because we love seeing you guys grow as musicians and ukulele players.
Yep, absolutely. And you're welcome, folks. I see people saying, thank you for the notation. You're very, very welcome. Hopefully you'll be able to take this and make it your own, because that's kind of the idea behind all of this. So do you guys want me to go through the A section one more time? You want to play it one more time with me? And then I'll try to scroll down and we can play through the B section too. Let me double check. Okay, yeah. All right. Here we go. A section. Get your ukuleles ready. We'll do this one last time. 1, 2, 3, 4. D7, move it down, your F chord, and then that's C, 2, 3, again, 5th fret, D7, move down D7, and F chord, and C. 2, stay right there. Here we go. 1, move it down. 5th fret. Move it down. 7, move it down. 5th fret, D7, move it down. Here we go. Move it down and rest. get to do it again because it repeats. Move it down. F chord. 2, 3, 4. Move it up. Move it down. Here we go. 2, 3, A minor. Move it down. And 5th fret. F chord. 7th fret. Move it down. 5th fret. D7. Again with your 8. Move it down. And rest. Woo! Here we go. 2, 3, I love. 5th fret. 2, 3. There we go. D7, move it down, and then the F. 2, 3, again. Move it down. F at a fret. 2, 3, and 7th fret, 3rd fret, again, move it down, 5th fret, then, and rest. I'll just leave it there for now. I could repeat 8 days a week if I wanted to, which is just repeating again the last 2 measures. But that was me scrolling and trying to play it at the same time. I had one mistake at that G7 point because I wanted to play G9, but I was trying to play what was written in that section for you. But again, hopefully you guys have a lot of fun with this. Remember that the Scholar packet does include backing tracks so that you can practice the chord melody of this with a band. And I don't have an intro, but it's just playing through the song just as I played it, actually, so that you get a chance to actually play through the whole piece. And feel free to try out, of course, different arrangements, try out different chords. You can even do, I don't know how many of you noticed me sneakily adding in that, where was that? I actually just plucked the A string that last time that we went through it for that second, for nothing, for the thing in that word. So I think that's it for now, you guys. Thank you guys so much for always being so incredibly supportive, and I hope you have a lot of fun creating your own chord melodies. This has been an absolute fun class to teach, and I'm really excited to get to hear how you guys take this song and where you take it.
Yeah, and again, we had a lot of things in the beginning. If there's any questions that we can help answer, whether it's for our retreats or our online school with Artist Works, send us a note.
Yep.
We would love to help you guys out.
And don't forget, we announced our Ukulele Retreat Hawaii's dates, March 17th through 20th, and it is full day of programming on the 20th. So, and there's an optional programming that you can also do for the 21st. The venue and pricing will be updated probably in, I'm going to say around 10 days. I think we're going to release that information. But for now, save the date, March 17th through 20th. So for 2024, if you want to join us here in Hawaii.
Awesome. Aloha, Joanna. Great to see you from New Zealand.
Yes.
Oh, Mitchell, we actually had a big meeting with Corey Mao recently. So we'll we'll share some news with you soon about that as well. But thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Hope to see you tomorrow on the same time for
Yep.
U3's premiere.
I cannot wait. Awesome.
Aloha, everyone.
Aloha, everyone.